Whatever age you are, however sophisticated you think you are, this is a very important video for you. This is what I'd classify as a aha video. Yeah, a moment of discovery. Things you never realized that are impacting your life right now. Whatever age you are, young or old, you're getting this thing, perhaps causing serious problems in your life and misunderstandings. Stick around. I guarantee you it'll be well worth your while. Now, in my previous video, I invited comments from you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate them. Even the comments where you strongly disagreed with me. Yeah. And it doesn't matter that most of you completely misunderstood me. Yeah, when I was talking about polygamy. It doesn't matter whether you're the chief executive officer of the largest bank in your country, yeah, or in many countries, or just a simple construction worker. What you discover in this video will change your life. And it doesn't matter whether you're a mere housewife, yeah, I'm talking now about women, or the president of a country, yeah, and you're a woman. This video will still change your life. So let's get on with it. And I'm going to start with a very simple story. A large cargo plane crashes in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, and the pilot and his co-pilot unfortunately pass on. But the cargo of that plane is mostly intact. And the cargo of that plane is a four-wheel drive Toyota Land Cruiser. And the next morning, the tribe nearest the crash site make their way to the crash site and discover this vehicle. But they have never seen a vehicle in their lives. And they have no idea what a vehicle does. And so, in the following days, they convert this huge thing into a place for sleeping. And then the steering wheel area is used by children to play. The villagers continue to take long treks to the beach to get fish for their food. Yeah, without knowing that they actually have a vehicle, a car, that can easily take them there in a much shorter time and bring them back. They have no idea what kind of power is in the engine under the hood that can easily go through tracks, because there are no roads in this very primitive, backward village that has never been touched by civilization. And so, this vehicle ends up rusting in that village in the middle of nowhere, without being used for the purpose it was intended, without anybody realizing how useful, what kind of joy it can bring to the village, how much it can change the lives of those in that village. Nobody realizes that. Now, this is a perfect illustration of our current world today, concerning the relationship between a man, any man, and a woman, and especially the relationship in a marriage. People say nobody understands women. Yeah, but it is also true, in case you didn't know, that women don't understand men. They think they do, but they don't. And so in this video, I want to focus on how you can unleash your power as a man in a marriage, and how also you can unleash the power you've been given, the God-given power you have as a woman. Now, these matters I'm talking about are very deep. I appreciate that. But I'll try my best to simplify them as much as possible. Now, the world is full of single women. And the world is also full of single men. So don't worry. In fact, we're going to start with that category before we even move to the married couples. Because that is where the trouble starts. Yeah, the trouble that leads to a very miserable marriage. So that as a single person, you're miserable. And then when you get married, you're even more miserable. Why are single men miserable? Because in case you didn't know, they're miserable. They will pretend, and they will even swear to you that they're very happy. But the truth is, they're miserable. You know one thing about men, they're very capable of hiding their true feelings and camouflaging it. They're also very capable of denial. They even deny to themselves that they're miserable. So what makes a man miserable? Well, let's start from the beginning of time, yeah, and the manufacturer, when man was being created. And we all know the story, so I'll not dwell on it very much. But what I want you to focus on is this. God gave man a companion, a helper. Why? Because man was miserable. He was lonely. And so, men kindly take very careful note of this. The main purpose of a woman is not to bear children, is not to give birth to your children. No. It is to be a companion. Okay? So, even if you have very many children and you're very happy with them, if you're not happy with your companion, with your helper, even if you're married, I put it to you, you're miserable. Fortunately, as a man, you have the power in your hands to change the situation, and we'll come back to that later. And so, having sex with the most beautiful women in town will not give you a companion. It will not make you happy. But you're free to keep on pretending that it does. Let's try and move quickly. Now, the woman was created as a companion. She was created to be a companion to a man. And therefore, if she is not a companion to a man, yeah, it's not me saying, don't throw stones. Yeah, we're going right back to the manufacturer's handbook. Yeah, if she has no companion, then she'll be very miserable. And unfortunately, she will usually be more miserable than the man. Now, many of you will know, especially if you're a woman, that many women get into the wrong relationship. They get into the wrong marriage, which is even worse, yeah, because of what people call desperation. Well, today I'm here to tell you, women are not desperate at all. Her wanting a companion as soon as possible is not desperation. She's simply being a woman. If a Ferrari is traveling very fast, it's not showing off. Yeah, it is simply being a Ferrari. It was created for speed, and therefore it was given a lot of power. Now, this statement I've made is quite a huge statement for any woman who understands it. Why? Because many times women are very self-critical. Yeah, and they criticize themselves and they feel even more miserable. Why was I so desperate? So desperate that I ended up making a very serious mistake with this man. Why? What's wrong with me? Well, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just a woman. Yeah, you're just being a woman. And so this information will help you to stop criticizing yourself, yeah, pick up yourself and move on with life. And you will be very careful in case you've not ended up in this kind of problem. You will now be more careful not to land into it because you understand yourself. And if you've already made this mistake, don't be too harsh on yourself. Yeah. In fact, don't judge yourself because now you understand why you did what you did. It is not because you are desperate. It is just that you're a woman and you're just acting, behaving exactly the way you're manufactured by your manufacturer. The most important thing in this life is to know thyself. And when you know thyself, you become a better person. Yeah, and you're able to avoid these traps. But let's quickly cut to the chase and give solutions. Yeah, even as I continue to reveal reasons why men and women behave in certain ways, which can never change, no matter how modern and sophisticated the world becomes. If you're a man and you're single, you know what to do. Yeah, go out there and get a companion. Not a girlfriend, yeah, to waste their time and misuse them. Yeah, a companion for life. Because only a companion for life will fulfill you. You will not be able to achieve, yeah, your full potential without a companion. Yeah, I mean, why else did God give Adam a companion? If Adam was fully capable, yeah, of doing everything, why did he need a companion? Yeah, and God is never wrong. God realized he needed a companion. So you too need a companion. And I have one little suggestion to make. Avoid, yeah, this fairy tale story of falling in love. And rather than going for outside beauty, go for inner beauty as a priority. There's nothing wrong with marrying a very beautiful wife. There's absolutely nothing wrong. But focus more on the inner beauty. Now I can already hear that question. Chris, How do I find the one? Yeah, the right one for me. Well, it's very easy. Open your eyes. You know, men are blind. They never see. A man meets a woman and is staring at her thighs. He's staring at her cleavage. All the focus is there. How will he be able to notice any other qualities in her? Women are not commodities. They are people. They are very viable companions who can help you to reach your peak. So start by opening your eyes and take your eyes away from the wrong places. Develop an inner eye. That's my advice. Now on to women. And this one is a bit complicated. But of course it's very doable. The biggest problem by far that keeps very many women single, you will not believe. Okay? And here it is. Now, most women are not themselves. They try to be somebody else. They try to be that person whom they think can attract the right kind of husband they're looking for. Now, let's go a little deeper. Because women are very deep. They can understand a lot of things. Okay? Now, women by nature are territorial beings. They guard their territory. I don't know if you understand. For instance, animals in the wilderness, if you approach their territory, they'll attack. They'll attack another animal within their territory. And they mark their territory with urine. I think you know that. It is a basic human instinct. Now, the way women are wired, they're very sensitive about their territory. And they mark their territory. And when other women approach within that territory, they really get it. Let me give you a very common example. Okay? Now, I'm not being cruel to women. This is a primitive instinct that all women were created with. You are going somewhere with your wife or your girlfriend. Now, take very careful note of what happens when you meet another woman. Maybe even your sister-in-law, the wife to your brother. Observe carefully how the woman behaves. The first thing she'll do is she'll gauge the other woman. And that one is done by a glance from head to toe. And you can almost hear the calculator making calculations in the head. That hairpiece she has, 500, the necklace, 200, the top, cheap from Kikomba, 50 bob. And all this is being done at very rapid speed. And of course a total. 500 shillings or 2,000 shillings. She wasted her money. That skirt doesn't suit her. That hair looks terrible on her. Women do this unconsciously. Women also tend to be backstabbers. It's true. It is just being a woman. It's a primitive instinct, yes, but that's a woman. That's where a woman was wired. There's nothing you can do to change it. Now, back to my point. Now, psychologists have a very interesting thing to say about this phenomenon. They say that when a woman is criticizing another woman, what she's actually trying to do is to create a better her in the other woman. She's seeing herself in the other woman, but at the same time trying to create a better her in that woman. It still comes back to guarding the territory. So ultimately what happens is that a woman evolves into something else that is not really her. Based by the influence of those who have invaded her territory, especially those she does not like. And so the package the man sees is not the real woman. But unfortunately, when he gets married to her, he discovers the real her. And in most cases is horrified. He is surprised. And of course that marriage will not go very far. Okay? But what is much more common is that many men will see that false her. And one of two things could happen. Either if they're a very sensitive man, they'll sense that this woman is a pretender. This is not the real her. And they'll move on. They'll not be interested. The other thing that would happen, which is very sad, is that they will assume that that is her character. And they'll not be interested. And yet that particular woman is the perfect companion for them. But sadly, what they're presenting is not the real them. Okay? So, it is very important for somebody who is single, who intends to get married, to be completely herself, whether or not she thinks those things in her are negative. What happens when you are yourself is that you will tend to attract the perfect companion. You must have heard the phrase, we attract who we are. Now, if you want to prove that this is a great problem in our society today, you must have heard men say, all women are the same. They behave the same, they react the same, they dress the same, they are the same. It is very hard to tell the difference. Bottom line, this is not going to be easy, of course, but bottom line, the day you become yourself, you will become very attractive to prospective husbands. Immediately you'll become very attractive. In case you didn't know, this is how people meet a man and a woman, and they bond immediately. Because the woman is being completely herself. And the man is doing the same. And breaking news, attracting the right man is not going to social events and being in every other social event. Of course, there's nothing wrong with going to social events where you could meet a prospective life partner. There's nothing wrong with that. But that should never be the focus. Because as long as you are yourself, you will cross paths. It's inevitable. It must happen. Let me just give you a story from the Manufacturer's Handbook to illustrate this. In the Manufacturer's Handbook, there's a story of a woman called Abigail. She was married to a very rich man called Nabal. And what happened one day, King David, that time was not a king. He was a fugitive running away from King Saul, wanted to kill him. So one day, David sent his people to this Nabal with a message. We protected your sheep when you're in the wilderness. We treated your people well. We're very hungry. Can you help us with the supplies here and there? Now Nabal replied very rudely, because the Bible says Nabal was a very mean man. He did not politely decline. He rudely declined. And when word got to David, he told his men, his armed men, to get their swords. And he swore that he was not going to leave any male person in that household alive. He'd kill all of them. Now, one of Nabal's servants who had observed this drama ran to the wife, Abigail, and told her what had happened. And because Abigail was very intelligent, very wise, and the Bible says she was also very beautiful, she made a quick decision. She took supplies and rushed to David. And when she reached David, she apologized on behalf of her husband, and gave him those gifts. And David changed his mind and blessed her. And when Abigail told her husband the next day what had happened, the Bible says the guy was so angry, he turned cold, almost like a stone, and then a few days later he died. And when David heard that Abigail's husband had passed on, he sent a very clear message. He sent his servants to ask Abigail if she could agree to be his wife. Why did David do that? He saw qualities in her that he admired. She was very intelligent. She had saved her entire household. She was also very brave. Ladies, just be yourself. You're going to be very surprised. Now let's move on to marriages, where there's also something very fascinating that will interest all of us, even those of us who are not yet married. Now, you have a very miserable marriage. You don't appreciate your wife. You have very many bad things to say about her. And maybe you even have good reason not to like your wife. Maybe you discovered, the example I gave earlier on. You discovered the true her when it was too late and you're already in a marriage. And so now you're stuck in a miserable marriage. Now I have some breaking news for you too. If you're a married man, you have the power in you to change things in your marriage. Women don't have the power, but men have a God-given power to completely revolutionize your marriage. All you need to do is to be aware of a very valuable secret. You see, women were created to be loved and appreciated. That's all you need to know. And it is true, many modern women following modern life and modern principles, hate to hear the word that wives are supposed to submit to their husbands. Yeah, in fact, they'd end up doing the very opposite. However, I have news for you as a man. You can change that. The way to get your woman to submit to you is not to force her, is not to, God forbid, beat her up. Yeah, no man should lift a finger on a woman. Yeah, a woman is a flower. I have absolutely zero respect for men who rain violence on women. It doesn't matter what the woman has done. Even if you found her in your own bedroom with another man, there's no need for violence. Never ever beat a woman. Anyway, let me not get carried away. So the way to get a woman to submit to you is very easy. Love her. That's all. Now, I know many of you are disappointed and you're not putting so much weight on this point. So let me give you a practical example. Have you ever seen a woman who has just fallen in love with a man? Have you ever seen such a woman? Or maybe you've been one, but maybe if you're one, you wouldn't notice the changes that take place in you. A woman who has just fallen in love glows. She becomes more beautiful, believe it or not. Yeah, it's like a flower, yeah, that opens up in the spring and becomes so beautiful that it takes your breath away. You see, women have a button. Yeah, if you touch this button on any woman, it will always work. Love and appreciate her genuinely. Now, you know women can sense fake things very quickly. Yeah, but all you need to do is to be genuine. I'm not saying this is easy to do if you're already in a marriage several years, yeah, and you know each other very well, but it is very doable. If you manage to do it, your wife will change and become completely unrecognizable in your eyes. And believe it or not, she will submit to you without you asking. A small aside here. This is one of the reasons why young girls go astray. What they're actually looking for is love and appreciation. And they make the mistake of thinking that they can get it by having sex, yeah, with men who are not committed to them. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. Yeah, so if you like what you've already heard, leave a comment below. And then that will enable me to do a part 2 of this video, where I will tell you or reveal other secrets that can revolutionize, yeah, a man-woman relationship. You can also find out a lot of secrets for yourself by going back to the manufacturer's handbook, back to the beginning, yeah, and how man was created, what he was created for, what a woman was, how a woman was created, and what she was created for. The real secret of life is to find out your purpose. Your purpose, first of all, as a man, and then your specific purpose on this earth. And again, also your purpose as a woman, and also your specific purpose, yeah, in this life. That is really all it is. I agree, it's not easy. Yeah, it's a simple truth, but it's one of the most difficult things to do in this life. Yeah, to find your purpose. Your purpose is something you're created to do, something that you do effortlessly, without feeling uncomfortable, without pretending, without even thinking you're doing any work. Yeah, it's enjoyable because it is you. Once you find your purpose, your life can never be the same again. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.